The morning sun slipped gently through the lace curtains of my kitchen, landing on the framed photos lining the walls. Birthdays, holidays, the laughter of my son, Adam, and his family. Every picture told a story of love, one I had poured my life into building. I'd spent my savings to help Adam and his wife Lily buy their home. I didn't mind, after all, that's what mothers do. We give, we sacrifice, we hold families together even when no one notices the thread we've become. That house wasn't just brick and paint. It was our dream. I remembered standing on the porch the day they moved in, Adam's arm around me saying, "Mom, we couldn't have done this without you." I smiled, swallowing tears of pride. I thought that meant something permanent, that I'd always have a place there, not as a guest but as part of the family I helped build. But lately things had changed. Lily had grown distant, her voice polite but cold, her smiles forced. Small comments slipped through. Maybe Mom could stay in the guest room for now. Or, it's just having her here makes it crowded. I brushed them off, convincing myself she was just stressed. That illusion shattered one evening at dinner. The table was quiet, the air thick. Lily cleared her throat and looked at Adam before speaking. "Mom," she began, eyes fixed on her plate, "I think it's time you considered other arrangements." I blinked, unsure if I heard right. Other arrangements. She sighed, meeting my eyes now. "You don't contribute much financially anymore, and with the bills, groceries, and space, it's getting hard to manage." Adam said nothing. He just sat there, eyes down, as if silence could erase the sting of betrayal. My chest tightened. The woman I helped raise a family with, the one who called me Mom, was now measuring my worth in dollars. And my son, my only son, couldn't find the courage to defend me. I forced a smile, though my hands trembled. "I see," I said quietly. "Thank you for your honesty." That night I packed my things. Every folded sweater, every framed photo felt like a goodbye to a life I no longer belonged in. But as I closed the door behind me, a single thought echoed in my mind. They may have taken me out of that house, but they forgot one thing. The house still has my name on it. The next morning, I sat on the edge of my bed in my small rented apartment, a space that smelled faintly of paint and loneliness. My hands traced the edges of the papers I'd brought with me from the house. The mortgage documents. My name, printed in bold letters, sat right beside Adam's. A quiet reminder that I hadn't just helped them buy that house. I owned half of it. I stared at those papers for a long time, my heart torn between pain and pride. I never wanted to use this power. I wanted to be loved, not needed, respected, not tolerated. But Lily's words, "You don't contribute enough," kept echoing in my head like a cruel melody. The truth was, I'd been paying half the mortgage every month since they moved in. When my savings began to run low, I told Adam I'd pause for a bit while sorting out my pension. He'd agreed. But it seemed he'd forgotten, or worse, chosen to forget, what I had done for him. A part of me still hoped he'd call. That I'd hear, "Mom, I'm sorry. Come home." But days turned into a week, and my phone remained silent. I scrolled through photos of Adam as a child. his messy hair, his bright eyes looking up at me with pure trust. That boy would never have let his mother go like this. By Friday, something inside me shifted. Maybe it was strength. Maybe it was heartbreak turning into resolve. I reached for my phone and dialed the mortgage company. "Good morning," I said calmly when the woman answered. "This is Margaret Collins. I'd like to suspend my monthly payments for the property on 48 Willow Street." There was a brief pause. "Are you sure, ma'am? That may cause the account to fall behind." "I'm very sure," I replied, my voice steady. "It's time my son and his wife start contributing more." When I hung up, I felt a strange mixture of sorrow and satisfaction. I hadn't done it out of revenge. Not really. I'd done it because sometimes people needed to be reminded of the value of what they take for granted. That night I sat by the window sipping tea, the city lights twinkling below. For the first time in days I felt peace. I didn't need their house. I didn't need their approval. But soon they were going to realize just how much they still needed me. 3 days later my phone finally rang. I glanced at the screen. Adam. My heart skipped, then steadied. I answered after the second ring, pretending I hadn't been waiting for this moment. "Mom," he began, his voice tight, "did you stop the mortgage payment?" I exhaled slowly. "Yes, I did." Silence. I could hear him breathing, maybe pacing. "You can't just do that. The bank called this morning. They said we're behind. Lily is furious." I bit back a bitter laugh. "Behind? I've been paying half that mortgage for 4 years, Adam. While buying groceries, cleaning your house, and watching your kids every weekend. But apparently, I don't contribute enough. So, I decided to let you two handle it." "Mom, you don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," I cut him off gently. "You've let your wife make you believe that love should come with receipts." He fell silent again, and I could almost picture his face, torn between shame and anger. "Lily didn't mean it like that," he muttered finally. "Did she apologize?" He hesitated. "No, but..." "That's all I needed to hear," I said and hung up. For a while I just sat there, my hands trembling. That call had been harder than I'd expected. Every word felt like peeling back a layer of my heart. But deep down I knew it was necessary. Sometimes you have to let people feel the weight of losing you before they realize your worth. The following week, things started falling apart for them. I knew because my neighbor, kind Mrs. Jennings, who lived across from Adam's house, kept me updated with little tidbits. "Margaret dear," she said one morning over coffee, "I saw the bank man at your son's place again. They looked quite stressed." I sighed. I didn't want it to come to this, but maybe it's a lesson they needed. She patted my hand softly. "You've done enough for that boy. Sometimes love means stepping back." Her words sank deep into me. I had spent my whole life stepping forward, fixing, helping, giving. Maybe now it was time to step back and let life do the teaching. That night, I wrote a note in my journal. Love is not measured by money or favors. It's seen in respect, gratitude, and presence. As I closed the book, I whispered a silent prayer. not for revenge but for realization. Because one day soon, they'd understand that cutting me off wasn't saving money. It was losing something priceless. Days turned into weeks, and the silence between Adam and me stretched longer than ever before. No calls, no texts, not even a message to ask if I was okay. The house felt emptier than usual. No grandchildren's laughter, no Sunday dinners, no surprise visits. Only quiet. First, that quiet hurt. It pressed down on my chest like a weight I couldn't shake off. But then, slowly, I started to breathe again. For years, my life had revolved around helping them, rushing to babysit, cooking for the kids, cleaning their messes, paying their bills when they were short. I'd forgotten what my own peace sounded like. So I began rebuilding my little world. I joined a local book club, started gardening again, and even began volunteering at the community center. Every morning, I'd sip my tea by the window and watch the sunrise. The one thing that always reminded me that each day can begin again. But then one morning I received a letter. Not from Adam but from the bank. It was addressed to both of us, since the mortgage was in my name too. I opened it with trembling fingers and found a default notice. Adam and Lily hadn't made a single payment since I stopped mine. My heart ached, not because of the money, but because it showed how dependent they'd become. They had built their comfort on my sacrifices. I decided to drive to their house, not to scold or shame them, but to finally speak my truth. When I arrived, the yard looked unkempt, toys scattered everywhere, mail piled up on the porch. Lily opened the door, her face pale. "Oh, it's you," she said, crossing her arms. "Yes," I replied calmly. "We need to talk." Adam appeared behind her, guilt written all over his face. "Mom, I was going to call." I raised my hand gently. "No need. I just came to check if everything's all right." I received the notice. Lily's jaw tightened. "We're handling it." I nodded, glancing around. The tension between them was heavy, almost visible. "Good. I just wanted to remind you, a home isn't built on bricks and loans. It's built on love and respect. Don't let pride tear it down." I turned to leave, my heart calm for the first time in months. As I walked to my car, I heard Adam's voice, soft but trembling. "Mom, wait." I didn't stop. I wanted him to want to follow, to choose humility over comfort. For the first time, my silence spoke louder than words ever could. It was a rainy afternoon when I heard a knock on my door. The sound startled me. Gentle, hesitant, like someone unsure if they were welcome. I wiped my hands on a towel and opened it, only to see Adam standing there, drenched from head to toe. He looked nothing like the confident man who once told me I didn't contribute enough. His eyes were tired, his posture slumped, and his voice barely above a whisper. "Mom, can I come in?" I didn't say a word. I just stepped aside. He entered quietly, leaving a trail of rainwater behind him. I handed him a towel, and he sat at the kitchen table, the same one where he'd once laughed with me, the same one where we'd celebrated birthdays and milestones. For a long moment, there was only the sound of rain hitting the window. Finally, he broke the silence. I lost the house. My chest tightened. I wanted to comfort him, but part of me knew this moment had to happen. Not out of cruelty, but out of truth. What happened? I asked softly. He sighed. Lily left. She said she couldn't deal with the stress anymore. The bank took the house last week. I'm staying with a friend for now. I took a deep breath. I see. He looked up at me, tears welling in his eyes. I'm sorry, Mom. For everything. For what she said. For what I said. You didn't deserve that. There it was. The apology I thought I'd never hear. Not just words but real regret. I know, I said gently, my own voice trembling. But Adam, life has a way of teaching lessons when we least expect it. Sometimes love needs distance to find its truth again. He nodded, wiping his eyes. I thought I was protecting my family. But all I did was lose it. I placed my hand over his. Then build a new one. Not with money or pride, but with heart. And remember, it's never too late to start again. He looked around the house, eyes lingering on the photos. Him as a baby in my arms, his graduation picture, his wedding day. A quiet smile broke through the pain. Can I stay for a while? He asked. I nodded, holding back tears. You'll always have a place here, Adam. But this time, not as someone who takes, as someone who's learned. As he unpacked his small bag in his old room, I stood at the door, feeling a warmth I hadn't felt in years. Not because my son had returned, but because humility had. Morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, bathing the kitchen in soft gold. I stood by the window, stirring my tea, watching Adam fix the creaky back door that had been broken for months. It was the same door I used to ask him to repair before he moved away, and the same one he used to ignore, too busy with important work. But now he did it silently, carefully, like each nail was a small act of apology. Breakfast's ready, I called out. He came in, his hands slightly dirty, his shirt rolled at the sleeves, looking less like a man burdened by ego and more like a son who remembered where he came from. He sat down, smiled faintly, and said, "You still make the best tea in the world, Mom." Chuckled. "It's just tea, Adam." He shook his head. "No. It's home." That one word, home, filled my chest with a warmth I hadn't felt in years. For so long I had thought love meant sacrificing silently, doing everything to make others happy, even if it broke me inside. But now I realized, real love doesn't ask you to disappear. It asks you to be seen. As the days passed, Adam helped around the house, took me for drives and listened, really listened to my stories. He started volunteering at a local shelter, helping single mothers with groceries and bills. Once, I caught him helping an old woman across the street, and it brought tears to my eyes. He had changed, not because of punishment but because of understanding. One evening he came to me with an envelope. "Mom," he said, "I've been saving up again. I want to pay off the remainder of your mortgage. And this time not because I have to, but because I want to." I looked at him, stunned. "Oh, Adam, that's not necessary." He smiled. It is. You built this house on love. The least I can do is make sure it stays that way. We hugged. The kind of hug that heals old wounds, that says everything words cannot. And as I closed my eyes, I whispered, I forgive you. That night I sat by the window, watching the stars twinkle above the quiet town. Life had come full circle, not through revenge or regret, but through forgiveness and growth. Sometimes losing everything isn't the end. It's the beginning of remembering who you truly are, and who truly loves you. Moral: respect isn't given by money or titles. It's earned by kindness, humility, and love that doesn't keep score.